And they told Nabi Musa, Izhabu anta rabbuka inna hauna qa'idun. So this land doesn't belong to them. David Trump, they promised them, we build airport for you, we build market for you, we bring modern city for you. If not our scholars that raised up, where would the Palestinian, the less privileged people, where would they have been today? So on the 15th of May, 1948, an attack was launched on them. But on the 11th of June, 1948, the United Nations now came to intervene on them. And the relief now came on the Israel. There is no how mighty you are. There is no how strong you are. If 2-3 hands came on you, you become a less privileged person. No matter how powerful you are. So relief came on them. So every one of them, they became settled. But clandestinely, secretly, they were sourcing for power. They were sourcing for weapons. The Israelis, they turned to the west to search for their own weapons. The Arab states, they also sought to the west to search for their own weapons, but they were turned down. After some time, Egypt, because of their formidable force, Israel sees them as what? As a threat. The Israelis, they were sourcing their own weapon after the intervention of the United Nations. They were sourcing their own weapon from the European black market. And the Arabs, precisely the Egypt, they were sourcing from the West. But the West, they deny Egypt. They refused giving him what? The supply of the weapon. So in July 1948, he now turned to the Russia and the Soviet Union. So the prime minister there was called Nikole. Nikole now supported him. He was the one that now supported the Egypt, so that they can also have people to fight whom? The Banu Israel, the Zionists. Because it is illegitimate occupation on that Palestinian land that they are doing. And nobody, if you don't study history, if you don't listen to history, if you don't read history, we won't know that these Zionists, this particular group of people, they are so arrogantly blatant and they trample on human beings, and the supremacy of the world leaders, global world leaders, are looking at them like this. And why will they be looking at them like that? Is because some people, all the world leaders, they used to have their own fraternity where they meet, where they share power, especially in the Freemason. And I've ever told us here, every one of us, you can have access to $1, not $100. Look at the symbol on $1. Look inside that symbol, you see one eye. That is symbol of what? Of Freemason. You hardly see any world leader that will not belong to that. They have where they used to meet. So to fight each other used to be difficult, more or less like a secret court. So the West, they refuse selling weapons to whom? To the Egypt. And the Russia supported him. They were there till the summertime. It came to a time, I'm talking about the attack that was attacked on the less privileged people of Palestine in a village called Deir Yassin. The following day of the declaration of state of independence in where? In Israel. On an illegal land. And they are creating another country in an existing country. It's just like to raise another country inside Nigeria now. That was what happened in where? That was what happened in Palestine. October 1948, the Egyptian army were now encircled. They were attacked in a community or in a region called Al-Fallujah. They were attacked in that community by the Israeli force. And a particular lieutenant colonel was captured in that attack, and he was called Lieutenant Colonel Gamal Abdel Nasser. This Lieutenant Colonel Gamal Abdel Nasser was the commander of that troop. So they were there, October, November, December, January 1949. The United Nations now intervened that we can't leave these people because Egypt and Israel, they are on two parallel lines. I hope we are following. Just for us to understand where the problem of these Palestinian people erupted from. So in February, 24 February 1949, there was delegations of the Egypt and that of the Israel. They now met on island of Rhodes in Greece for resolution. So that the officers that were captured in October 1948, where Gamal Abdel Nasser was encircled, they will be released. Alhamdulillah, at the end of the day, the United Nations were the one that sponsored the meeting and everything. They were able to resolve. By summertime, in that 1949, there was an agreement that so place will be captured by we. So place will be left for the Egypt. So in March 1949, the Israelis, they now took over the West Bank and the Jerusalem, and they shared it with the Jordans. They now assign Gaza to Egypt. Gaza, where our people are suffering today. They assigned Gaza to Egypt government, and they kept on managing it. But the officers were not happy because they were not carried along. So Gamal Abdel Nasser now conceived an idea of establishing a movement that is called Free Officers Movement. Are we following? He conceived that idea that the political class of Egypt, they didn't carry them along, and they reached a consensus. They reached a consensus with the Israelis. Why they were releasing West Bank to them, why they are releasing West Bank to them, to the Israelis, and the Israelis also releasing it to the Jordans. And then they now release Gaza to us. The army officers were not happy. So the first thing they did in June 1952, from 1949 to 1952, there was a tranquility, a kind of little peace. The first thing they do in July 23, 1956, was to take over of the political class of what? Of Egypt. They now deposed King Hussein, King Farouk, who was the king of Egypt then, and they sent him on an exile. So Gamal Abdel Nasser now became what? He now became the de facto leader of Egypt. That was how they had the first military officer as the president of Egypt. The way Kemal Mustafa Atatürk was the first president of Turkey. So also Gamal Abdel Nasser also became the president of Egypt. That is what they call July Revolution. Are you following? He was there. David Ben-Gurion, who was the prime minister, had already retired. So he now came back. He came back as a defense minister. Now said he was anticipating a kind of fear that this Gamal Abdel Nasser, I hope he's not going to be a similitude of Kemal Mustafa or Mustafa Kemal Atatürk of Turkey.